Roxanne, were you born and raised here in East Baltimore?
No, I wasn't.
You from?
I was raised in Westport.
Westport,
Projects.
you go girl.
And I stayed there for 23 years.
Did you?
Yes.
You were under Miss Wright, huh?
Yes.
You remember her?
Yes.
I see you smiling.
Yes, she was a good lady.
Don't think I know about Westport. So, and you've been living here in Perkins how long?
Just 11 years.
11 years?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not a baby, but you're not an old time.
Yeah.
And while you are living here in Perkins, what are you living in? Tell me a little bit about your area.
The area where I live at, I live 325 South Hearn Court. And I live like on the end, the ramp section. And I really, by me living on that end, the only way that I can see is if I come off the ramp.
Okay.
But you can hear
everything.
And you can, for the past summer since I lived there, all you hear is a bunch of loud music all day long. A bunch of guys hanging out, you know. I have even experienced a guy getting shot.
Oh, goodness.
You know, and looking out my door and seeing him laying there, his body laying there. And I have even, you know, fights break out all the time. You know, men and women. You know, it's just rowdy. You know, that from the part where I live at, from my section, from my porch on up, it's not that bad. But from my porch on down is terrible. It's terrible.
And you know, so often people have nothing but the bad side of the community to look at. But far as in history, take me back. How was it when you first lived here? What made you stay 11 years?
Well, you know, it was convenient. You know, you got Fells Point down here. You had a market up the street. You know, it was just convenient to the stores. You didn't have to really catch a bus and go nowhere. You know, and then the people, it just seems like in that little bit of time that I've been here, it just seems like it's gotten real bad. When I first moved down here, you know, I got along with the neighbors. You know, I'm one of them type of women that I like to cook.
Right.
You know, before I had the grandbabies. You know, I don't have time now. But I used to cook and feed the neighbors, you know, and people called me. They didn't even know me that well, but by me being the type of person that I am, they used to call me Ma, you know, and it was just good. But now you scared to even come outside. I got 2 grandbabies that I'm scared to even walk around in the neighborhood.
Well, our purpose is to bridge the understanding with our young people, like your grandbabies, to where it was a vibrant community, and to introduce them to those things that draw attraction to the Perkins Homes community. Now, Perkins Homes does something every year, Community Day, where they bring. Tell me how you feel about that. What happens when you go to that?
The Community Day is really nice. It is. It's really nice. I don't want to like put them down because I thank them for doing what they do.
Right.
But they just have their picks, you know. They just have their picks on who get what and whatever.
If you can do something in the community, as far as not give away, not cook, but do some bridging between the resident that's down the street with the residents that's across the court, with the youth, how would you visualize this community being? Give me your idea how you see Perkins could be.
I see Perkins as can be like the old projects back in the day, you know, where everybody got along, everybody looked out for each other's children. It wasn't no thing that don't correct my child. You know, if you see your child doing something wrong, you'll be able to correct them. You ain't had to put your hands on them, but just correct them. But now you can't. Well, I'm not going to do it. But anyway,
it's okay.
I just want to see the community just get along, and the grass growing on the yards, and flowers back in the yards, and you know, everybody sitting down having a good time, you know, without arguing, fussing and fighting.
So back in the day, the communities here wasn't so much boxed in, they were unified. You could say that? And they enjoyed each other's company and atmosphere.
Yes.
And the children were able and trained to respect everyone. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
I totally agree. And you mentioned something about the gardens. Tell me how you remember the gardens in public housing.
Well, I had one of the mothers that we would get out there. She would plant. Matter of fact, the office would give us grass seeds.
Yes.
They would give us flower seeds. They would give us the tools to work in the yard with. And we had flowers. We had green grass. We could put a blanket out and sleep out in the yard. You know, build us a little tent and sleep in the yard where there wasn't no ants and bugs. And, you know, you didn't have to worry about that.
And what was, to me as a kid, one of the highlights, I got a whole lot of, I'm a public housing project.
Okay.
And I pride myself in saying so and hear that. I don't call myself a project person because I'm not a project
person.
But I always used to enjoy, guess what?
Yeah.
Watching the women hang their clothes on.
Yes. And you know what? I tried that. We got clotheslines out there. I went around there with this lady, her name was Nita, she moved. And she put the lines up and she said, oh, you know, everybody could use them, you know. But then the parents allow their children to swing on the lines, to break the lines down. So when they was broke, I went and brought some more. And I put up like 6 lines, you know, because I love to put my clothes, especially my blankets.
That fresh air in them clothes.
Yes, I love to put my clothes up there. But when you put the lines up, you
now
know, when you wake up in the morning, they're not there.
So one of the things that we need to do, because we know the history is more like you're saying, it was unity.
Yes.
More or less, correct? And it was freedom to be who you are, correct?
Yes.
And you did have the atmosphere of feeling like it's okay to be the older one.
Yeah.
Right? So we, with that history of knowing in Perkins, the Perkins were basically built of families.
Yeah.
Would you say? Yeah. And that's what you said, that's why you trust raising your grandchildren around here. Now, if you could tell me briefly, just briefly, if you could do something with your magic wand and something that was in your history and put it in your present day, what would it be as far as in Perkins?
To beautify it.
Cool.
To beautify it, put back all the flowers, all the grass, back the clotheslines, you know, just to beautify, you know, Perkins.
That sounds
that's got a lot to do with where you live at.
Right.
Because you got a lot of people here that just don't care.
And they don't know.
They don't
They don't realize the simple things of the garden and hanging out the clothes created what? Trust.
Exactly.
In the community.
And, you know, when you speak to somebody about that, you know what they come out their mouth with?
What?
Oh, we live in the projects. Why y'all worried about that?
Well,
But this is where you live at, you know. This is where people have to come and knock on your door. And before they knock on their door, they got to look and see a bunch of trash.
Right.
You know, just...
Because each generation is different.
Yeah.
But that picture that you just painted, that was a beautiful picture of the neighbors blending in on simple things.
Yes.
The simple things. Now, you are aware that Perkins is a large community outside of the development, that we're surrounded by all kinds of races.
Yes.
For example, we have the Italians, we have the Greeks, we have the Jews, now we have the Hispanics, and we got the African American. Perkins was mainly known for having a large number of Caucasians in it. And it's good to know that ethnic groups can blend in. In this development, you fit in as under what category? African American?
African American.
Yeah, African American. And while you here in your retirement days, we had Well, the window watchers, you know what they they sit out there window
and see everything.
And they're gonna tell on you. What do you see that the seniors do now in the community? And I don't just mean in age, but those who lived here a long time. What do you see they do now that they could leave in the understanding of the youth?
That they could leave.
Right. You think that?
I don't see nothing that they
Okay.
Not nothing.
Okay.
Because a lot of them is they don't want to get involved.
Right.
They scared.
Right.
You know, to say anything. And another reason why they don't say anything is because they have this so-called confidentiality. But if you go to them and report something, they don't keep it.
Talking about the hippie law?
Yeah. You know, if you, I'm not even saying that, but I'm saying like if you go to the rental office and want to report an incident that went on, and you say you want it confidential. You know, you don't want your name out there
right.
and nothing like that because the type of environment you live in, you might get killed. But they won't do that. They will put your name out there.
I see.
And then you might get, like I said, you might get killed.
You become
That's
a target.
why a lot of people don't want to get involved.
Now, if you can get a group of seniors together, just go with me.
Okay.
Because I do this a lot,
Yeah.
you know. And sometimes after I do it, I make it a reality.
Okay.
If you could get a group of seniors to get together and make a change in the community, what would be one of the first things you would have that group do?
Bring back the recreation center.
Very good.
Bring back the recreation, because when we had our recreation center back in the day, it was something for us to do. You know, that's where we met at, that's where we had our little parties at, you know, and it kept everybody, you know,
balance.
Yeah.
And as we older now, what talent or what skills do you think our older residents have? When I say older, that means living here and in age. For example, when I was growing up, half of them knew how to crochet.
Oh, okay.
Half of them knew how to sew by hand. I'm talking about make a whole outfit with a needle. And they passed that on. Half of them taught them how to cook. What would you think would bring the seniors and the youth together? What other things you think can be released where the seniors and the young people can become one in history?
I really don't know. I know a lot of seniors know how to cook. I don't know what the young people want to do as far as the seniors, but you know, like getting them together, you know, the seniors and the older people, you know, like taking them to the movies, you know, renting a bus and taking them to the movies, you know. I even tried to, when it was around, the seniors was around the powerhouse, you know.
Yeah.
It's nothing with donating a little stipend so that your bank can fill up. And then those that don't have no money or can't afford to go, it'll be money there for them to go, you know.
Oh, that's that unity you talking about.
Yeah, everybody don't have that kind of money. You know?
Yeah. Who would you say was a great example back in the day for you living here in Perkins?
Was a great example.
Made a difference in your understanding that this is not just a project for the community.
I don't know, because I didn't really
Okay.
deal with too many people, you know, because at the time when I moved here, everybody was like separated. It wasn't.
I see.
It wasn't no like family, you know, like community. Getting to know one. You know how you move in a community like back in the day. You know, you get to know people and you become one. Like the neighbors looked out for each other. You know, it's just when I moved here, it wasn't like that. Yeah, I really did like that. That was kept you from getting in trouble because you said, oh, they're going to miss so and so. You know, you better not do that, you know. And everywhere you looked, there was somebody that knew your mother.
You know,
and they was able to bring you, they was able to whip your butt and then bring you home and you got another one, you know.
What school did you go to?
I went to Westwood Elementary.
Right.
I went to Gwynn Falls Elementary, that was on Hilton Street. Then I went to on 33rd Street for 33rd. Girls. The all-girls school on 33rd Street.
Was Easton or City?
Easton High School, that's right. I shouldn't even forgot that.
That's okay. You tell me your age.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
So in school, did you have a favorite teacher?
In Westport Elementary, I had a favorite teacher, and it was Miss Arvin. And during my junior high years, senior high years, no, I didn't have a favorite teacher.
I think we all can remember our favorite teacher in elementary.
Yeah.
It's something about elementary school, you grasp hold of a teacher. Mine was Miss Johnson, and she was a dressing lady, and she wore that snatchback.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you ask me what I supposed to be listening to, I can't. But I see Miss Johnson.
And the teachers cared about the students. Yeah. You know, they cared about it because I can remember we was getting a picture taken. You know, you got your monthly picture. I mean, your yearly picture.
Every year.
Yeah. And I went to school crying because I wanted these bangs in front of my head. And she came over there and she said, Roxanne, we're going to take you back home so you can get some bangs. And they took me all the way back home and I took my picture with them bangs. Big old bangs.
I know. I slipped mine back.
And that was her name, Miss Arvin. You know, the teachers back there, they cared about their children.
Yes, they did. And the teacher would be able to grasp you, your hearing to make you like a subject. What was your favorite subject?
Oh man, I like gym.
Well, everybody like gym.
I like in my senior years I like home ec.
Yes.
I made my what you call it, the 11th grade outfit.
Did you?
Yeah, I made my outfit to go to
your junior outfit.
Yeah.
Well, that's you learn at home ec. You know they don't use that word no more.
I know.
But tell me about home ec. What you?
They learned us how to cook. They learned us how to sew. You know, I can't remember nothing else. That's all I remember.
They did all of that. They taught you how to be ladies.
Yeah.
Not so much directing your attention at it, but how to carry yourself and how to take care of a home and things like that. I enjoyed home ec too.
And I still crochet.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my sister, I have a sister, she live in North Carolina. And we go, when I go down there to visit her, we go to the community building and they be doing all kind of stuff. And we go over there and I be making hats.
I know that's
I be making little trinkets to sit on the table. I be
learn all that
and kind of thing, making curtains. Just, you know, it's something to do.
And that sounds like another survival skill.
Yeah.
For those that lived in the low income areas, we knew how to improvise.
Yeah.
Redesign that thing, and it started in school, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
With that
you learn how to make $1 out of 15 cents.
Did you play any instruments in school?
No.
You took any foreign languages?
No.
You ain't missed none of that?
But they learned us, they didn't learn us no whole lot.
Right.
But you know, they learned us a little bit of, you call French or Spanish?
Spanish.
Yeah, they learned us a little bit.
You learned my Spanish. We did Spanish.
Yeah.
I know uno, dos, tres.
Yeah.
I ain't want you far now. But we gonna close by this, but I want you to just take a moment and tell me a little bit about the surrounding history that surrounds Perkins. Do you know any of it? Some of the landmarks, some of the areas. Yes, you do. You're not thinking, because maybe I ain't asking right. Let me give you a little example.
Okay.
For example, the Shot Tower.
Oh, yeah.
And what's the course from the Shot Tower?
The post office.
The post office.
The post office. You got Shot Tower.
What's that thing that wave in the air, red, white, and blue?
The flag.
The flag house.
Yeah, flag house. And you know what? I walked past it early part of this week, and as much as I had been on the bus and walked past it, I never knew that there was a flag house.
No, that was the first thing. Oh, you from Westport?
Yeah.
That was the. Do you know what Port Discovery was at first?
No.
It was the fish market.
Oh,
Everybody in Baltimore City and Maryland would come to a fish market.
I didn't know
Nance
that.
and Jessup.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
yes, we.
I didn't know that.
Had some rich history here.
Mm-hmm.
And as we identified, we had communities.
Okay.
Like we said, we had the Jews and the Italians, African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in this footprint doing what? Living together.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, no one interfered in another area, not because they was racist, because they was all doing surviving.
Yeah.
And would you say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With the peace and the harmony
Mm-hmm.
in there. I thank you for sitting with us today, because what you know is very important. And I thank you for identifying the pros, so we can introduce some positive things to our children.
Yes.
And if you had to tell your granddaughter that if you live here, how should she be? What would you tell her?
I would tell her you should learn how to be like a lady, a little young lady. You know, don't be out there being no roughneck.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And I don't even want to say this on camera, but I also gonna tell them if somebody hit you, they hit them back.
Well, you know, all mamas say that. That ain't bad.
No,
but all mamas taught that.
I'm teaching them now to be like a lady. I don't like to dress them like like boys, how they put the boots and all that on little girls. You know, I don't do that. I dress them dainty. Matter of fact, my son got custody of the babies. Mm-hmm. They have an apartment, but he's a man. He don't know too much about ladies and girls. So he do his best, because when I get tired, they go home. But when it's time for them to get their hair combed and get their nice little bath or whatever, he bring them back to me, and I'll keep them for a couple days, and then they go back home, because I get tired.
Would you teach them that they live or been raised in your home, in the projects, or in a community?
Well, I'll say it was I live in Perkins Homes projects.
You say that? Why you say that?
Because it's what it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they address it as, the project. I mean, you know. But it's also a community. It is. And they love it. They love it. And I have girlfriends that come down, we sit on the porch, and we might cook out on the porch, and they drink their little beer or whatever. My days is over with. Mm-hmm. So they bring their little grandchildren down here, and they love it down here. They love playing with the other little children, because I tell you where I live at, on up is good, you know, but going backwards, I wouldn't let them go down that way.
Right.
They love to come here in Perkins and play. You know, when they come down here, they have such a good time.
Do they?
And they be wondering, I want to go back to Miss Roxanne house. I want to go back to Miss Roxanne house. And then I'm the lady that the children not going to do. Miss Roxanne, you got a popsicle. Miss Roxanne, you got any candy? You know, because I keep that kind of stuff for the kids.
So you're the candy lady. All communities got the candy lady.
You know, I don't try to make them think that it's to make it a habit. But I'll tell them, you know, just wait a little while. When I get something, I'll give it to you, you know. So that they won't worry me all day.
But they
know
they had that one candy lady.
I know. They come knock on the door. I even go to the store and buy them 200 boxes of those freeze pops. And they know that they can knock on the door. Miss Roxanne, can I get a freeze pop? Or I'll just go out there with a handful and just give it to them, you know.
Well, I tell you, Miss Roxanne, don't ever let nobody take your heritage from you. And even living here in public housing,
I enjoyed living here in Perkins. You know, I really did. But when I lived around the corner, it was good. But when they moved me around the corner, they for some reason, I have 2 neighbors that I live next door to. They don't like me. I never done nothing to them in my life.
And they older?
No, they're younger.
They're young girls.
You know, and I never done nothing to them. A day in my life, I don't even know them, and I've been living there for like 5 years where I live at now. And I don't even know them. And they don't like me.
And that's one of the things that you can't wear, right? Yeah. That's one of the things that, as someone your age and as someone that live here as long as you have, you would like to see the community become one.
Yes, yes. You know, man, and I'd say maybe it's because I don't do what they do. You know, that's the only reason I can think.
Okay.
But if they're not what am I doing, say, Miss Roxanne, do you have? If I have, I will still give it to them, regardless.
Well, Miss Roxanne, I thank you for taking the time
so
with us and identify that there is an opportunity for revolving here.
Yes, yes.
And that in Perkins you could revolve with the history of how simple life was lived here by and through the residents.
Yeah.
Even surrounded by a vast, large amount of history. And bridging those gaps between generations, it will call for consistent practice. So, but I thank you for having the spirit to want to see that come about.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.